Welcome back to the Morristown Market Report. I'm Amy Schrader with Remax Real Estate 10.
And I'm Kim Swan with Union Home Mortgage.
Our special guest today is Allison McGee. She is the purple haired mama freeze dried goods. I had to write that down so I could get it all out. So tell us a little bit about what it is that you do.
So what I do is I take all the kind of candies that you know and love, like Starbursts, saltwater taffy, and everybody loves Skittles. And then what we do is we heat them up and we make the sugars soft. And then we use a vacuum and poof them all up and then dry them in place. So it makes candy fun and exciting to eat in a different way. It doesn't stick in your teeth. It's great for kids with braces or people with dental work because they don't want to lose all that hard work that they're doing, but you still be able to get to have a treat.
Okay. So the purpose of the freeze dried candy is it just doesn't make it as sticky or?
Yep. It's just a different way people found to use their freeze dryers. Normally when we use a freeze dryer, we're preserving fruits and vegetables and different products that you can put in your shelf. And, you know, if the world ever goes to an end, we want to be able to still have a sweet thing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So people started putting candies and different things in there. And then the kids just found it a lot of fun to eat because it's different. It's a crunchy texture. So some are going to be kind of like a cookie, like the Starburst. It's more like a cookie instead of a hard, chewy taffy. Skittles are kind of a weird, different texture because it crunches, but it's more like a biscotti kind of crunch. And then saltwater taffy, it is more like a melt away. So it's crunchy, but once you start getting all the saliva in there, it kind of acts like a melt away mint. But then you get the flavors of the taffies that you can use.
Wow.
Okay. So did you make this discovery on your own, or did you find somebody else that was doing it, or how'd you come across this?
I wish I could take credit for it because I would be a millionaire. But no, I came across it from needing to find something to do. I had was in a 8-year relationship with a business, and we decided to part ways, and so I started doing stuff for the home and then came across a Facebook page of freeze drying candy, and people had been making great money on it, and it was all over TikTok. And so I jumped feet first in, and I ended up with 5 machines and have been making candy ever since.
Okay, so how long have you been doing this?
3 years this
Wow.
December, actually. Yeah, it's super exciting. I like seeing people smile and enjoy something, because what I did before wasn't as much fun.
I understand.
Now, what are those candies? You told us what these were. So what is?
So these are peach rings.
Okay.
And I cut them in half because you get more into a container.
Oh.
If I leave them whole, then you only get 5, and I want you to have more. So, but peach rings are gonna kind of crunch like a Cheeto and finish off like cotton candy. And then I like to do fun things for the holidays. So we have some eyeballs, and
That's cute.
these are fruit roll-ups and marshmallows.
Oh, okay.
And they're really
Wow.
tasty. And then right around the corner, we're going to have our Christmas tree cakes. Those are always a big hit. I like to do things for the holidays and kind of just mix it up. But we
Gotcha.
do have about 36 items that we carry on every day, and then we have holiday items that I'll do, and I normally try to do between 5 to 10 of those.
Gotcha.
All right. So do you have a storefront or a website that people can order from, or how do you promote your product?
I do have a website, and it's www.tnhma.com, and then I have a storefront that I have in Sevierville. I'm at a flea market, and I'm there 3 days a week. So it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But if you know me, or if you get a hold of my information or know anybody, I'm happy to drive it to you.
Okay. Now, do you have a Facebook page?
I do. It's Purple Haired Mama
Freeze-dried
freeze-dried
goods.
goods.
See, you had to think for a minute.
I
too.
did. I'm used to just saying purple-haired mama, so when I have to think about it for a minute.
All right, so if we start searching for purple-haired mama, you'll pull up.
Yes, and a lot of it will look just like the bags.
Okay.
So that's all. I
Okay.
try to keep everything the same.
All right, so can you give us an idea of like how much would this cost?
So those on the website are $8, or we do a 3 for $20 deal. So if you choose 3 different items, you can get it for $20, which is a $4 savings.
Right.
This stuff will last, so you can, if you don't open it up, it'll be good for 6 to 8 months. Once you start opening it, though, you kind of got to make sure the air doesn't get to it, and it'll last a couple weeks.
Okay.
Gotcha.
What do you think is your best seller?
My best seller, I would say, is between Nerd Gummy Clusters and Jolly Ranchers. Everybody seems to like those. Skittles are a close third, but I think everybody has had a Skittle now, so they're like, okay, that was the introductory. Now I want the good stuff.
So Jolly Ranchers are hard candies, so you're heating them up.
Mm-hmm.
And what do they like when you get done?
So they look like a big ball about that big around, and it will crunch kind of like the peach ring. It'll be like a soft Cheeto and finish off like cotton candy. And if you heat them too much, then they kind of just disintegrate in your hands.
I would have never thought of something like that with the
I was
Jolly
going to say,
Rancher.
yeah, who would have ever thought whoever came up with that? I mean, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
This probably got developed during COVID, didn't it?
I'm gonna say it did kind of start before then. It was just kind of hitting the market about right before COVID hit, and then a lot of people had time to mess with their machines.
I was gonna say a lot of people got bored during COVID,
Yep.
so
You couldn't go anywhere, so it's like, let's see what this will do.
right. Okay. All right, good deal. So is there any like sugar savings by freeze drying it?
No, we can do sugar-free items, but you kind of have to be careful. But a lot of times the items are cut into 2s and 3s. So one piece is going to be a little bit more, you can have a little bit more than what you would just with a normal candy.
Gotcha.
Because if you like the taffies, like right here, these are cut in half. Because if they weren't, they would be about this big, because moisture can't live in a vacuum chamber. So when we hit that vacuum, it starts sucking the moisture out of it, and it makes it really big.
That's what happened to me. I've been freeze dried.
I say the same thing.
It all makes sense now.
Now you know.
Now you know. All right. So is there anything else? Do you have anything upcoming that you want to promote?
I will be at a couple of different shows in the next little while. November 8th, 9th, and 10th, I'll be in the Knoxville Expo Center. There's a big, huge Christmas market. It's the 24th year, so that one's, I'm kind of really excited to be a part of it. That's my first year there. And then November 23rd and the November 30th, I'll be at the Field of Dreams in Dandridge.
Okay.
And there's 2 big Christmas markets then.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Good to know.
And if I add any, I'll let you guys know.
All right. Good deal.
We're going to look you up on Facebook.
Yes, please do
Yeah,
so.
check it out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming and talking to us today.
Thank you for having me.
You can get back to making candy. Kim and I are going to talk a little bit about mortgage rates and real estate now. So thank you. We appreciate you coming. All right, Kim. I know
Well-
mortgage rates went up a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like
Just a
we've
tick.
not been here in a few weeks. And
I
feel
know
like
our
they're-
videographer is a world traveler. She got to go to Italy and we had to stay here and work.
Yeah, something like that, didn't we? So, yeah, they moved up a little bit. They're still,
A
upper
lot lower than
fives.
they have
That's
been.
exactly right. Upper 5s, lower 6s, that range, And still, one thing that we're seeing right now a lot is that we're seeing a lot of refinances. People that have higher credit card balances, are refinancing because homes are worth more now. So,
Well, I was going to say, even somebody that bought 6 months to a year ago could probably see,
yes, some savings.
substantial savings.
Mhm.
And I know back when I did mortgages, which was a long time ago now, but even we have talked about this recently that, used to, you had to say that you were going to be dropping a certain percentage before it made sense to refi. But I think now that your home values are
Mhm.
higher, you probably don't need to see
Right.
that big of a drop. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Because it used to be like that 1% range,
Right.
we would say.
Mhm.
But that was back when homes sold for $150,000 and $175,000.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
So if somebody is at 6.5 to 7 right now,
Mhm.
it probably makes sense to look at it.
Yeah. Plus, if they have mortgage insurance and they can drop that, So, yeah, it's definitely something to look into for everybody that's a homeowner. So,
Okay.
definitely.
So FHA mortgages are where now?
Let's see. I think I locked one yesterday at 5.6.
Okay.
So, and then conventional's going to be a little bit more. So, 6.25, 6.5, somewhere in that range. Of course, that's all depending on the credit scores and things like that too. So,
Right. So let's talk a little bit about FHA, VA, and USDA because we have a natural disaster area here. Hamlin County, Hawkins County, Cobb County, of course,
Greene
Greene
County.
County,
Mhm.
and on up
Mhm.
to areas that we don't really cover.
Right.
But I got a rude awakening last week because I had a home that was going FHA. I had the listing. Buyer was going FHA that's in Cobb County in Bobby, and it's not far from the river, but it was not affected by the flooding. We were supposed to close Monday, and we got the call Thursday that FEMA had declared us a natural
Mhm.
disaster, and we had to get a third party inspection of the home done before we could go to closing. And I think that freaks a lot of people out. So I just thought maybe from the lender perspective, if you want to talk about
And
how that
each lender can
works.
do that different. If it's a conventional loan, they're allowing myself to go take pictures and front sides, both sides, front and back of the home. Nope, if we don't see anything there, we close them. We do have the borrower sign a paper making them aware they're in a FEMA natural disaster area. FHA loans, the same thing. We're not having to hold up closings. They're letting still I go get pictures or get the realtor to get me some pictures, and we're going ahead and closing them. Now, they still have the appraiser to go back and do that inspection, but they're even allowing us to do that after closing. So we're not holding up closings because of this.
So what happens if they do it after closing and it comes back that it had damage? It would seem to me that would be a
Well, we're getting the
hiccup in the.
pictures before. I mean, we're still getting pictures. So obviously, you take pictures of an exterior. You're getting the front, the
Right.
side, front and back, and both sides. So obviously, you can tell,
Okay.
if there's anything, and if there was something in those exterior pictures that led us to believe this home did have some damage, then we're going to have to get interior pictures. And
So that was the problem, is the buyer was not going through you for financing.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
we got held up a week. But
Exactly.
yeah. And then I actually had one that we closed Monday in Hamlin County, and we closed it. And then the lender wanted a letter signed by everybody saying the house didn't have it. But like they had already closed the deal when the lender sent this letter out. And I'm like, that just seems
Well, that's
odd to me. And then the
covering.
appraiser called me that afternoon. And I'm like, dude, we've closed and funded on that deal.
I think that's to cover with Fannie or Freddie if they get audited. So I think that's what that's for. But I will say we do have we have offices in Florida. So this week they're holding all closings until this second storm passes just to make sure.
I don't think it's going to pass. I think it's hitting.
Well, pass quickly. My husband's down there, so it's got to pass quickly.
Well, prayers for him for sure. But so I know your parents live in Cott County.
Mhm.
Are they faring okay through all
They
this?
are. Of course, one brother couldn't get home for like 4 or 5 days because he lives over going towards Parrotsville across the Northport Bridge, and that was flooded, and then they had to have TDOT check the bridge. Other brother had got home but didn't have power or water. None of them had water till last week.
Right.
And then when they got it, it was on a bull alert, and now they removed the bull alert. So they
Good
are
deal.
very fortunate. Very fortunate.
Yeah, it's sad to see all that
it's
devastation
terrible.
from all that. But
Terrible.
and I think we're going to see the effects of that in the
Mhm.
real estate market the next 2 or 3 months. And people
yeah.
are like, oh, but you're going to have people who lost everything that are going to need to buy a house. They're not going to have the money to buy
No.
a house.
No.
Because the majority of the people did not have flood insurance because it wasn't meant to flood.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see the effects of, like I said, all
Definitely.
that happening in the real estate market. It'll be interesting to see
Oh, I
kind of how
know.
that all plays out. But September, because again, it's been a couple of weeks since we were here. For September of this year, we had 83 new listings in Hamlin County that came on the market. We had 76 listings that went under contract, and we had 57 homes that sold. The average sales price was close to $323,000, 31 days on the market, and they sold for about 95% of their list price. The median sales price was $272,500 with 15 days on the market, and they got about 98% of their list price. Sales prices ranged anywhere from 94.5 up to 1.1 million, so all price ranges in there. We had 23 homes that had been under contract that came back on the market for whatever reason, and then we saw 70 price reductions during the month of September. So the average price reduction was around 24.5. Those homes had 61 days on the market. Median price reduction was 15,000 with 50 days on the market. So, so many times I go on a listing appointment and I'll give them a number, let's say 300. I'll say, this is what we need to list your house at. And they're like, well, we thought about that and we want to list it at 320. That gives us room to come down to negotiate a little bit and, da 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 da. And so I have a spiel that I go through with people that I just say, look, people are searching in price points. So if you list a $300,000 home at 320, you're competing with $325,000 homes. You are a $300,000 house, so you're going to be, at the low end of the totem pole when people are out looking at these homes. If you price it at 300, you may even get 305 to 310 if your home's in good condition, because you're going to be in front of those buyers who see the value of your home. 9 times out of 10, I can get them to see my way of thinking. But then you always have that one. It's like, nah, still want to try it my way first. So ultimately, it's their home. They make the call. And as long as they're not like trying to get $50,000 to $100,000 more than what I anticipate we can sell for, I will usually work with them. But then when we sit on the market for 2 weeks and we don't have any showings, I'm like, yeah, we probably need to put that price down there where I told you to put it. So right now we've got 148 homes active and available for sale in Hamlin County. We've got 88 homes that are under contract. So things are still moving. I mean, we had 83 new homes go on, but 76 went under contract. So we're still, turning that inventory over fairly well, although we do have a little bit of an increase in inventory. I know personally for us, it has slowed down tremendously the past 10 days, with the flooding, and a lot of people from out of state come in here to buy. And, getting here is a little harder than it used to be right now, depending on where you're coming from. But I do think that with Florida having 2 major hurricanes within a 2-week time period, we're going to start seeing more migration from the Florida side of it.
I would be.
Well, yeah. After living through what we've seen from, the flooding here, I don't know how people just stay and do this year after year after year. I really don't. Like that I don't know how you pick yourself up and rebuild time after time after time.
And I wonder how, like, insurance down there. I mean, it has to be extremely.
Oh, it's through the roof. I know.
Expensive.
Yeah. And I think that you're going to end up seeing, in California, certain insurance companies have pulled out due to the amount of claims they're paying out. And I think we're going to end up seeing the same thing from Florida, especially if Milton hits as hard as they're predicting it will. Yeah.
It's not looking good. And I think it's going to go all the way across the state. So.
Yeah, but at least it's going that way and not up here this time.
Yeah. Hate it for them, but whew.
Yeah. Definitely. All right. So anything else about mortgages we need to know right now?
Nope. It's still just good. Still got a few people saying I'm going to wait till after the election. Not really sure that's going to change much, So I just think it's still a great time to buy that home, get in by Christmas.
Yeah. You've still got time to sell a home between now and Christmas. So, All right. If you have a local business or a nonprofit organization that you would like to have promoted on our weekly Facebook Live, please leave a comment, send us a DM. We'd love to get you on our schedule between now and the end of the year.